this program to bring you a special...
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. First, my apologies for the delay in the show. If you're not a content creator, it doesn't matter. There's a little live button that lights up once you start your live on your program. Usually that's just a few seconds lag. Today it was more than a few seconds. So I apologize to everyone. 1 second. So we got to talk about it. This is the elephant in the room. This is the elephant in the room. What's the elephant in the room, Crimson? Why we stuck as a people? Because we come here every day and we talk about value systems, and we talk about system, order, and structure, and we talk about bioculturons, and we talk about all of this stuff, and it sound good. It sound good. It sound good. It sound good. But what we gonna do about it? Why do black people continuously get stuck? Not going anywhere. We go so far when we start talking about change. When we start talking about this system, how black people can get ahead. See, we comfortable. I feel so comfortable with you. That's how we sing. We croon to white supremacy. That's how we croon to it. I feel so comfortable with you. You make me comfortable with you. Sing it a love song. We sing it a love song because we like it. We like it. Even some of those of us who swear we don't. Who swear we don't like it. Who I'm talking to today. Talking to black people today. I'm talking, listen. I know that people want to identify differently. We the ADOS, no, we FBA, no, we this, no, we that. Okay, I'm not here to try to tell nobody what acronym they need to go under. Okay? I'm really not. If you don't identify underneath this system, if your ancestors, if you don't believe your ancestors was underneath chattel slavery here in this country, was underneath racism, segregation, black codes, Jim Crow, If you don't believe that your ancestors had nothing to do with that, maybe I might not be talking to you. I might not be talking to you. But there are those of us who know. I may not have picked not one ball of cotton, but the suffering underneath the system, we understand it. And I'm not going to sit here and deny, oh, my ancestors had nothing to do with that. Yes, they did. Trace my lineage back to a plantation. So, again, I'm not here to tell anybody what acronym they need to go under, or I'm not making a case for or against. I'm talking to whoever it applies to. That's who we talking to today. Whoever it applies to. We as a people, thank you so much, Norrin. We as a people, and I had some super chats that were in the beginning that I missed. That I apologize for that also. Thank you, Too Tall, and thank you, Diego. We are very comfortable underneath a system that we swear has oppressed us and our ancestors. A system that we recognize has become part not only of the biological attack, but long has it been part of the culture and part of the environment. I'm going to give you the main course first. Not even going to give you the appetizer first. And then we're going to work our way down. Main course. Main issue that we got as a people is we don't have the reason why we're comfortable under white supremacy is that as a group, we do not have the confidence that we understand or know enough about the world to navigate it successfully without the white man, without his system, order, and structure, without his guidelines, and without his value system. I'm going to repeat that because it bears repeating. The main point here today that we got to explore, we got to unpack it, y'all. We really got to unpack it because, see, it's a time out for saying little cliches that sound good and then everybody get to disperse back to the foolishness of their life. We as a group of people, as a whole, have zero confidence that we as a group understand or know enough about the world to navigate it successfully without the white man, his system, order, and structure, his guidelines, and his value system. See, we don't think we can navigate the world not without his foot on our neck with that white supremacist system. See, we like that foot. The foot is comfortable. Y'all don't hear me today. The foot is comfortable because it lets you be right where you at. See, we don't even know how to identify ourselves outside of the struggle and outside of the measuring stick of white supremacy. See, we only value ourselves the way they do. We only value ourselves according to stuff. See, even the word successful, we don't even know what that means outside of a white man's definition of success. And we've been struggling and striving all this time to be successful according to how he say you got to be successful. And it has done nothing but drive a wedge in between all of us. We've divided ourselves. If you got a PhD, if you got a PhD, we value the PhD based on which prestigious school you got it from. And a school not prestigious unless it's white. So we don't like your degree if it didn't come from a white Ivy League school. If it came from a small school, if it came from a predominantly black school, and I don't mean HBCUs. If it came through another avenue, we don't like that. We don't like you. We don't put no value in it because the white man said that the only degree worth something is the one that come out of Harvard, the one that come out of Yale, the one that come out of Stanford, the one that come out of Brigham Young, et cetera, et cetera. We don't value no job unless it's a white approved job. If you come up and say, you know, I have a pretty good position working at Google. Ooh, you work at Google? What you do at Google? Oh, you work for Google? Because we know Google. Oh, you must make a lot of money. Yeah, I web developed and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I make a firm 6 figures. I'm not right at the threshold. I make a firm 6 figures. I've been doing this for the last 7 years. If you say, I own my own tech company. Oh. Because we don't know whether to like it or not because we ain't seen no white folk like it or not. We love who they say love. We hate who they say hate. We value what they say value, and we devalue what they say devalue. And all of us, the men and the women, got their part in that. Don't we? We value the things that they say value. We got to go way up to try to be equal to their average, to try to be superior to their average. Our best entertainers and athletes live in the most affluent neighborhoods in America. You know who live next to them? You know who live next to them? Not just white people, but the white entrepreneur, the dentist, the engineer. They don't gotta be famous. They don't gotta get in the limelight and dance a jig to get them that money or to be elite in their culture, in their circle. comfortable in white supremacy because it's easy. See, operating under white supremacy gives us the perpetual excuse we need to not reach no excellence. It gives us the perpetual excuse we need to stay in this bottom of the barrel, bottom feeding thinking, bottom survival, just barely making it type of existence. It gives us the comfort of saying, well, we live under a system that's not going to let me reach excellence, so I ain't got to reach it. And we prove that that's what we think. Anytime black people step up to say, hey, we can be better than what we doing. We can do better than what we doing. The first thing we do is we make an excuse about why we can't do that and why raising the bar and raising the standard is unfair to us. Somebody ain't gonna like me today. Somebody ain't gonna like it today. Somebody ain't gonna like it today. Thank you. You can't see me. Say your voice is impacting our culture in a powerful way. Thank you. I hope so. We don't like standards. We don't like raising no bar, because raising a bar make you what? What's the word? Raising the bar makes you what? Start with an A. See, the word accountability ain't just kryptonite for black women. Let's get that straight. The word accountability is not just a kryptonite for black women. It's a kryptonite for black people as a whole. Because when you raise a standard, what you got to do is you got to start looking around. You got to start taking inventory on your life, yourself, your choices, the things that you have done, the decisions you have made, the mess you made out of your own life. When the standards start raising, what you got to do is you got to realize you ain't been the victim all the time. Sometimes you was a volunteer and sometimes you was a villain. What you got to do when things make you accountable is you got to start peeling back layers to find out just exactly how deep do the rabbit hole go. Got to really look at it. You got to actually look at it. Study it. We don't like accountability. That's why they didn't really like Kevin Samuels. Thank you, T Black, my sister Fire Cooking. See, there was a section of black men that didn't like Kevin when Kevin was getting on black men. There was a subsection of black men that did not like Kevin Samuels when he was getting on black men about what they got to do. Well, what about black women? We know black women messed up, but I'm talking to you right now, from one man to a group of men. And that subsection of men that did not like Kevin Samuels touching on men having to come up to a level of excellence deflected. Well, who is he? Well, who is Kevin to have said something about what men do and what the men ain't doing and how they achieve and what has he achieved? What do it matter? Is he lying? Is he lying? Did he lie about it? Same thing with black women. When you got women like myself, when you got women like Danica, when you got women like Shay Sharday, when you got women like Chantel Simone that start talking about what's going on with black women, you get the same deflection on the other side. Well, what about the men? We ain't talking about the men, sis. We ain't talking about the men. We talking about you. We talking about you reaching a level of excellence, because there's a point to where regardless of what the men are or are not doing, you still got to be a woman, don't you? You still got to be a woman. And that's the same thing Kevin was saying before. Regardless of how messed up the women are, there's a certain point where men have to be men regardless. But see, we don't like that. We, black people in general, we don't like that kind of stuff. We don't like that talk. We don't like that kind of talk. See, that kind of talk rub us the wrong way. That type of talk is infuriating to us. Because what it does is it takes away the victimhood that we operating under. It take away the victimhood that we operate under that give us the excuse to be in foolishness and BS all the time. To wallow in mediocrity and BS all the time. Instead of looking around and saying, you know what? I can do better than what I'm doing. I actually can do better than what I'm doing. Thank you, Amin Ra, and thank you, Taha. So I was thinking about running for president, and I would be honored to have you in my cabinet. For real, your message is needed for both men and women. Thank you so much. See, the victimhood is the excuse that we all need. See, we need our victimhood to be validated. We need that validated all the time. We need, folks to feel sorry and, what I'm saying, woe is me, and look at the circumstances, and this is why I made the jacked up decisions that I was making. And we have come to a point where we know we made messed up decisions based on a messed up mindset, and then when it comes to changing the mindset, that's when we get shy. That's when we start, well, I don't know, what you mean, my mindset? The same one got you in this mess. That's the mindset I'm talking about. We gonna change that or nah? We gonna change that or nah? If we serious about getting better, or we just talking? We just like the way it sound. We just like the way it sound. When we talk about black people coming together and black people moving forward and black people doing this and black people doing that, it sound nice. But what happens when it come time to actually put the rubber to the road? What then? That's when we start hemming and hawing and backpedaling and tap dancing. Now we want to bring up all the excuses about why I was even in this. We got to go back into a circle about, well, this is why we here. Black women do it all the time. When you back them up into a corner about the mindset that they got, well, then they want to fall back on what? What they want to fall back on? It's two words. What they fall back on? Reason why they so messed up when you bag black women up. And then they get to talking about then it's white supremacy fault. We comfortable. We comfortable with white supremacy. We like the boot on the neck because we get to squirm a whole lot without ever having to fulfill the expectation of what come next if we get that boot off our neck. You get to squirm and act a fool with that boot on your neck. Oh, I'm gonna get. That's just like being in a fight or getting in a fight, or you about to get into a fight and somebody, and you hold me back. I'm going to really do it. And then that person say, well, go ahead and do it. Then you be like, no, you was jumping bad a second ago. Go ahead with your bad self. That's how black folks do. Get this boot off our neck. If you just get this white survivalism off our neck, well, I'm really going to do it. White man, okay. Well, let's see what you do. We'll lift it up. We'll lift it up a little bit. We'll take a little pressure off of you. What you going to do? Huh? Then your eyes get the bucking. Huh? What? Huh? Because you don't know how to identify, and you don't know what to do with yourself without that boot on your neck. Am I lying or not? Am I lying? Tell me I'm lying. Somebody in the chat, hey, say, hey, Sister Crimson, that's incorrect. Tell me if I'm incorrect. We run back to the shelter of white survivalism because it gives us the excuse we need to stay in BS. We gonna really cook when we get back, but after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey guys, this is Spanky Hayes, and I want to say something, whether it's comedy, acting, or just in general real life. I use my A game. I gotta have the A game. I pack it in every pocket. I got one pill in every pocket and every pair of pants I got. Listen, entertaining y'all is hard sometimes. I gotta fly to Dallas, then to Denver, then to New York, then to LA, then to Detroit. Come on, man. That tires me out. I just take the A game now. I don't have that problem no more. I usually barely don't sleep because I'm entertaining y'all. I'm in the studio all night with the A game. And trust me, when I come home from the studio, my woman gets to feel the real pleasure of the A game. You see, I'm smiling. Watch this. Hey, baby.
Hey, babe.
Guess what I just took? What? A game, A game, A game, A game. I'm gonna meet you upstairs, all right?
Oh, okay. The way she ran off for me when he said he took the A game. She's like, oh. She threw that broom down and she had did her little dance or whatever. He's like, meet you in the bedroom. She's like, oh. I adore that because the way she ran off is facts. And if you want your wife running up to the bedroom, you're going to have to get on your A game, your A game, your A game. If you want to carry around a pill in every pocket, like Spanky said, then you're going to have to get your A game first. And why would you want to get your A game? Who would want to be on their A game, right? You get on your A game because it addresses a man's overall health. And it supports his vitality. It supports his energy. It supports his strength. It supports his libido, right? And every man needs support in those areas. We all can have improvement, and we want our brothers to have improvement as well in his overall health. So in order to become part of the A Game family, all that you have to do is click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com. And don't forget to get your 10% discount using the code Kendra10. So when you get it in the cart, you put your Kendra10 code in there and you know you're getting the best possible support for your health on the market that you can. And you can get this box of awesomeness delivered to you ASAP, a superb product and a superb customer service as well. So you don't want to wait. All right. The work to get out from under the boot of white survivalism is too hard. It's too hard for us as a group to create our own value system, our own measuring stick, because it's scary work. Thank you, Miss Danica. Thank you, sis. How you doing, sweetheart? Let's talk in depth about a value system. We're going to talk today about this 10 life values and how heavy it is. See, it's not just a chart. I know the chart is fire. I know the charts is awesome. I know the charts is, we can't get by without the visuals. But it's time to take this concept out from just something visual to what we do in life. Stage 1 of the 10 life values is that you can acknowledge it, and then you got the choice to ignore it. When the 10 life values is first introduced into this space, people had the opportunity, it's no big deal. We've all heard of all 10 of these things. We've heard about spiritual value. We've heard about health. There's no word on this list that we have not understood or heard. This is not a foreign language list. This is all stuff we heard about. We know about what a health is, and our family, and our appearance, and dwelling, and mobility, and we understand what education is, and profession, and leisure, and wealth. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I know about that stuff. Yeah. So, spiritual, health, mobility, and all out of order. Profession, family, wealth, dwelling. What about it? What about them 10 things? You can ignore it, can't you? You can find ways to dismiss it, can't you? I ain't gotta listen to it. What is that anyway? But then when you start, that's stage 1. Then you start looking at the 10 life values in reference to yourself. Spiritual, what do that mean? Like religion? See, we find ways to dismiss it. Oh, it mean not religion? I don't got to do that religion stuff. Oh, okay. Nobody say religion. Number 1 is not religion. Number 1 is spiritual. Health. I'm all right. I look all right. Do you? Sure about that? A lot of us walking around with a lot of chronic illnesses. A lot of terminal illnesses. A lot of ongoing, just other health issues. You start thinking about your family. I don't like them, man. Man, forget them. Whatever. Yeah, appearance. I look all right. We start finding ways to dismiss them and saying how we don't really gotta look at this. But we keep looking at the list now. Thank you, Miss Deborah. We keep looking at the list. And something happens when we look at this list. We start measuring ourselves with it. Oh, well, I didn't finish high school. this education. So, I mean, I ain't gotta get an education to be a good person. I don't have to have, well, wealth doesn't make me a good person or a bad person. You know, shoot, that's what's wrong with the world now. Everybody on this superficial type stuff. You know, make you think you doing something. You gotta be a good person. I mean, I'm a good person on the inside. I got a good heart. Didn't nobody say you didn't? Nobody said you didn't. But do you? Nobody said you wasn't a good person, but are you? Are you? Want to take a look at that? A little closer? Want to examine that a little closer? Want to examine it? Are you a good person? Who determined that? What measuring stick you using to determine that? Is other people's experience of you as a good person? Your health is all right, is it? How many medications you on? How many medications should you be on? Then something else happens when you start looking about the 10 life values. Stage 2, it now becomes a weight. It's a weight. It's a weight in your life. Why do it become weighty? Why does it become heavy? Because of that word again. Because of the accountability that it make you have for you. Or the realization that you wasn't as put together as you thought you were. You wasn't the person you portrayed yourself to be with everybody else. You're not the individual you think you are in your head. The reality is actually something different. It dawns on you that you got maybe 1 or 2 areas that's okay, but the rest of them is a chaotic mess. And it's a mess you made out of your own life. And then when that get too heavy, we like to deflect. When it get too heavy, we like to talk about what somebody else is doing, ain't doing. Why I gotta measure myself according to the 10 life values? Hey, who made the 10 life values? Father's time. Who is he? Who is he to be giving up a value system for me to be measuring about? You ain't asked that when the founding fathers gave you a value system for you to measure yourself by. You didn't ask that when George Washington gave you a value system that you should measure yourself by. You ain't say that when Andrew Jackson gave you a value system that you should measure yourself by. You didn't say that, did you? When they was drawing up constitutions that didn't include you. You didn't say nothing about why they come up with a value system. I gotta measure myself by. Who is them? Who are you? The better question. We don't like nothing that come from nobody that hit us upside the head with no type of truth. Exactly, go, he ain't none of my daddy. Ain't nobody said that nobody was your daddy. Can't talk about nothing in the black community about bettering yourself. Because we be thinking we slick. See, we think we slick and we think we thinking outside the box when we call ourselves turning the mirror around. Somebody put a mirror up to us and then we want to switch it around. I can get up here and start talking about the value of a wife and the value of a woman. Well, are you married? Are you? Are you even a black woman? Are you? Because your actions call that into serious question. We don't want to peel back no layers to see that we really acting a fool the way we acting a fool. As a community, we sleepwalk. We don't pay a lot of in-depth attention to our dysfunction and the foolishness that we get up to and that we normalize. And we don't really want to see it as the negative. See, we know it's negative, but we don't want to really look at it. We don't really want to dig into that. We don't really want to dig into that. We don't really want to unpack that. That's why we at this gender war impasse. That's why we here, because nobody really want to unpack it. Black women don't really want to unpack that the way you raise black men, black boys into men, the way you treat black men in romantic relationships, the way you interact with black men in social settings, the way you interact, the way you talk to, the energy you give off with black men is that bad. It is. It's way worse than you think it is. And the men are coming to say, no, it's that bad. It's that bad. I ain't that bad. Y'all will be all right, will we? Now, will we? We don't like to unpack nothing. When the lioness come up and say, you know, kind of got a little concern about how we getting treated by black men, that's dismissed completely. Nobody want to unpack nothing. Everybody want to say, I'm the biggest victim, so therefore I don't got to unpack it. We ain't got to go no further than my victimhood. We ain't got to go no further than my victimhood. Because anything beyond my victimhood invalidates my victimhood, and we can't have that. See, we don't like the scariest part of digging into the healing process. See, we say healing, but we don't really understand what that means. We say a lot of words, but we don't understand what the words mean. We don't stop to absorb what the words mean. The best and worst part of the 10 life value system is that it puts you on blast by yourself in your house when ain't nobody looking at you. That's the worst kind of front street to be on. The front street by yourself. When you really gotta look and you really gotta reflect on all the foolishness you get up to. See, we like this foolishness. That's the part that we really gotta say. Black folk like this foolishness. And I don't mean just in entertainment value. I mean, we like the everyday negative foolishness. We like the everyday negative foolishness. See, we get on here and we cap on social media. We don't show up authentic. We don't show up authentic. Women will get on here and talk about what kind of man they want and blah, 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 blah. And then they'll get offline and then they'll go right to the dude that they just got through telling the world ain't the dude that's good enough. He the so-called Pookie and the Ray Ray and the little homosexual dude that's sliding through and all that. She give all her time and attention to that dude. While at the same time coming online to try to wag her finger at men for doing the exact same thing on his side. And what are some of the men doing on their side? Talking about these strags, talking about these hyenas and how they ain't no good and this, that, and the third. And all his time is spent with a hyena. all his time, all his resources, all his energy spent on a hyena. Say, is it not true? Is it not true? We telling the truth today or not? We telling the truth today or not? We do not understand how to identify or define ourselves with any other measuring stick or value system than what white supremacy, aka white survivalism, have given us. It's the reason why we don't go no further into the actual solution is because as a group, we fear the unknown. We fear it. We don't know what the other side actually looked like of being healed and not being scared of them. We're going to get to the fear in a minute. See, we like to talk about change. But when change starts taking effect, that's when we get upset. We get upset with that. And we find reasons why we can no longer engage in an ideology that we was rocking with before the rubber had to meet the road. See, while it's all theoretical, we down with it. When the 10 life values is theoretical, we down. Yeah, this is a good idea. Yeah, 10 life values, family, spiritual, health, mobility. Yay! Until we gotta say, okay, now we gonna do it though. We gonna do it though. Individually, so that we can actually be doing it collectively. And that's when we start jumping ship. Now you're rabble rousing. See, we don't like no Negro on the plantation raising a voice and gathering the attention of massa. Now we really getting into it. See, back in the day, we are the ones that look up to Malcolm X's and, the Huey P. Newtons and the Fred Hamptons and stuff like that. We look up to them now because they're gone. We ain't got no fear to look up to him now because they gone. We honor them now for the same reason white folk honor them. White folk can sit and honor MLK now. They can sit and honor Malcolm X's message. They can sit and honor Huey P. Newtons and Marcus Garvey's and all of those civil rights heroes and things. See, they can do that because they offed them. They gone. We can talk about it now. Were they upholding their message and championing them when they were there? When Malcolm X was talking his talk, they wasn't championing him. They hated him. They hated Elijah Muhammad. They hated all them brothers. They hated them. They didn't like Muhammad Ali in his prime. Because not only was he whooping them in the ring, he come whoop them in them interviews too. Because they thought he was a dumb Negro that didn't know how to do nothing but fight. Didn't think he was intelligent. So when they start talking to him in them interviews and he was unloading the clip, then they'd be mad then. Mad then. Because he could back up everything he said. They wasn't championing it. Now you can find it everywhere. I have a dream. They hated that dang speech. And guess what else? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know what else. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know the other side of that coin. Thank you again, Norrin. The other side of that coin was that during the time of them brothers, when them brothers was out in the streets and them brothers was, you know what I'm saying, causing an uproar, black folks hated them too. Black folks hated them too. And they hated them because the white man hated them. They hated them because they were scared. See, all of this comfortability was born from the fear of the white man. Why? Because they was proved since the plantation that they didn't have no problem coming in and destroying you utterly without mercy. So we feared for our lives. We feared for our livelihood. We feared for our families. We feared them. So what we do, we stayed in line. Don't pipe up too much. Don't say too much. Don't speak everything that we thinking. See, we don't want to talk about this kind of stuff over the airwaves, and what we'll do is we'll use the excuse talking about don't let the enemy know what you talking about. That's code for we don't want them coming over here skibbity papping us up for having a slave meeting. See, they didn't like that when the brothers was coming out and talking about, you know what I'm saying, the unions and the economy and all of this other stuff, your job and all of this. See, I ain't gonna not go to work. Now you causing too much trouble. Now you going too far. Because you got these white folk mad at me at job. They was mad at you to begin with. They didn't like you anyway. See, black folk hated them too. They hated them because you gonna make massa come over here. And we don't need that kind of smoke. We got to keep our head down and keep working. And just try to do the best you can now. We don't want these folks coming over here doing nothing. And the only time that we ever flourished was when we stopped being scared of them. And then they became scared of us. The only thing that make them back up is when we define our own selves with our own value system. And if we can get past the fear of stage 2 that keeps us in the victimhood loop, we can go to stage 3. Stage 3 is the work, the actual work of peeling back all them layers and actually facing up to the fact that in some of these areas, you are a piece of crap. You're not as wonderful as you thought. You're not wonderful. You're not wonderful. You're not. I know you want to think you're wonderful, but you're not. You've been a piece of crap to your family. You've been a piece of crap. You've been a piece of crap in your spiritual life. You've been a piece of crap. Been a piece of crap with your health. Piece of crap. You've been lackluster about your mobility. You ain't cared nothing about your education, or you cared too much about your education to the exclusion of the other 9. Why? Why do we get to a point where we care too much about your education? Because that's when we think we better than other black people. When you get your education. That's why black women think they better than black men right now. I got a PhD. They don't talk about the hundreds of $1,000s of debt that come with that. Because the white man said that if you go to school and you get a master's and you get a this and you get a that, your master's degree with an apostrophe S. Not the degree where you mastered something, but your master's degree. When you go and get your master's degree, that was supposed to make you better. And we only think that because we abide by the system of white supremacy. That's the only reason why we think that. It's the only reason why. Because the only value, thank you, Miss C. Thank you so much, sweetheart. The only value we have underneath the white survivalist system is as a slave, as a worker. And what do slaves do? Slaves keep their head down, slaves keep their mouth shut, and slaves keep them backs broke and moving. That's what slaves do. They don't make trouble. They don't make waves. They don't start talking about their rights. They don't start talking about valuing themselves. They don't start getting ideas about how they don't have to be slaves. Thank you, Bertram. Thank you, David Issa. Just tuned in. You ruffling feathers today. Oh, yeah. We don't like the work because the work is scary. Here's why the work is scary, and here's why we have to do it. I need everybody to pay close attention. Put a 2 in the chat if you ready. Put a 2 in the chat if you ready to hear this next. This is the most crucial part of everything that I've said today. The most crucial part of everything that I said today, the most crucial part that we as a people must understand without a shadow of a doubt is that the reason why the 10 life values is so important is because we cannot serve 2 masters. Can't. See, if you saying that you want to be under the value system, under the system, thank you, Norman Henderson, under the system of the Most High, under a righteous system, you can't labor under white supremacy. You can't. Because white survivalism is the enemy's system. I don't care what you say you believe in. I believe in Allah, or I believe in Jesus, or I believe in God, or I believe in Yahweh, or I don't care what name you put to it. You're going to have to double check whether or not you mean that if every part of your life is followed under the system of the enemy. If your life is based on everything you do in your life is based on the lost value system, then it is based on the enemy's unrighteous, evil system. And if you have based your life on that, you cannot and you have not based your life on the righteousness of the one you say you worshiping. You cannot straddle the fence. There are no demilitarized zones, none. You are either for or against. No middle ground, no gray area, no sanctuary. Because I tell you this much, God is merciful. Do we understand? God is clement. God is forgiving. God is loving. God is patient. God is forbearing. And I'm going to tell you something else God is. Put a 4 in the chat if you want to know the other thing God is too. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Decent said, look what the Nation of Islam did to Malcolm X. And also that's what the NOI won't talk about. God is all them things. And God is also not playing with us. He not playing. He not playing. See, we think that because God is loving and forgiving and patient and merciful and beneficent and all of these wonderful qualities, and he is, we somehow think that he's also playing, that he don't mean what he say and didn't say what he meant. He gave us a value system. He gave it to us already. Clear demarcations. The 10 life values is simply a way to truly organize this stuff so that we can qualify it, we can quantify it, because what gets measured gets done. If you ain't measuring it, you're probably not going to get it done. Thank you, Joe Dog. And most of us are scared because we don't want to lose the wealth we have worked so hard for. And thank you, 39 Dina. He not playing. Line drawn in concrete, etched in stone. It didn't change. That line ain't never changed. We want to think it changed, but it didn't. It didn't. We want to feel like it changed, but it didn't. One or the other. This is why we're comfortable under white supremacy. It feels easy. It feels better. Makes you honest. Makes you accountable. Like, I really got to get my stuff together. And this is how you get your stuff together. Not just an empty word. Oh, I got to get myself together. And then 15 years go by and you ain't got yourself together. You're no closer together 15 years later than you were 15 years ago. That's problematic. As a group, we're no more together now than we were 400 years ago. You mean to tell me the world can move on, but it's taken us more than half a millennia to move an inch? We ain't moved, y'all, in hundreds of years. We still running around talking about what white supremacy did, is doing. We can't even say it in the past tense comfortably. It's still an open wound because you won't close it. You pick at it and let it fester and all that kind of stuff. You won't do it. You won't do your work. We won't do our work because we don't show up authentic in our lives. We don't show up in the mirror authentic. We won't tell the truth. We won't do it. We get on social media and we lie. We get on social media and act like we doing this and we doing that and we about this and we about that. And in your life, you ain't about none of it. None of it. You ain't healed one thing in your life. And if you are in this chat and you have lived, are living, have implemented, are implementing the 10 life values, I want you to put a 7 in the chat. It's some of the hardest stuff in the world to sit there and look at yourself and say, you are trash. Kind of trash. Yeah, you've been trash. Last couple of decades, you've been trash. You've been telling folk you ain't trash, but you ain't trash. You've been telling yourself, oh, I'm not trash, you trash. For those of you who are unable to put a 7 in this chat, please start today. Please start implementing. It is not just a chart I put up to pass the time. Please take a screenshot. Please write it down if you're not taking a screenshot. Please start evaluating yourself. You ain't got to tell it to nobody, just to yourself. Where are you in these areas? What get measured, get done? Where are you? Just tell it to yourself. The best thing to do is to be honest with yourself about it. Just be honest with yourself about it. I know it's painful. I know it can be hurtful. I know it hurts the ego. I know it hurts your pride. I know it kind of break you down. I know everybody in this chat that pressed 7 know that. It's not about being high and mighty. It's about being able to do the work. Because if you can survive the type of trauma and hardship that's got you not in a prime position, then I guarantee you can survive the healing process. I guarantee you can survive the healing process. You already survived the trouble. You already survived the threat. You already did it. I know it's hurtful. But you got to be able to look in the mirror and say, I've done some work. All of us ain't starting complete from the bottom. Don't dismiss the work you've already done. Don't dismiss it. Honor that work. Honor the work you've already done to try to get yourself together. Honor that work. Acknowledge it. Please. It's essential that you honor the work. But then also honor the fact that you got more work to do. It's okay to have more work to do. Trust and believe. It is a lifelong process. It don't never stop. It don't never stop. It never stop. The improvement don't never stop. There's always another level to it. There's always another way. There's always another step up. Don't let the enemy tell you that you can't improve. Don't let the enemy tell you that you're at the end of the line. If you breathing, you're not at the end. If you inhale, exhaling, you're not at the end. Always room. Thank you, Love C said, it hit like a ton of bricks when I first took a good look at myself. But once you commit to the work, you and everyone around you reap the benefit. The benefits are awesome. And thank you so much for saying that, C. The benefit of it. You won't believe your eyes. You won't believe your heart. You won't believe the feeling. Like, man, I'm really getting stuff done. I'm really fixing myself. I'm not just saying I got to. I'm really doing this. I really can measure my progress from this point to this point. I really can do it. Thank you, Adrian, said you're a treasure. Keep on cooking. Thank you so much. Don't let the enemy tell you that you don't got no value, that your only value is the slave. And be nothing and be negative all the time. Don't let the enemy tell you that, because it's not true. It's just not true. You got something to offer yourself. You got something to offer the world. Everybody got something they can contribute positively. We all can do that if we choose. Let the 10 life values be a blueprint for where you, and be the roadmap for the excellence that you want to achieve. Please do that. Please do that. We already, as a people, we already survived the trauma. So you mean to tell me we can't survive the healing process? The healing is too hard? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We got to overcome self-doubt. The white man's ice is not colder. We got a system. All we got to do, we got tools. All we got to do is use them. That's all we got to do. All we got to do is use the tools that have been given to us. The Most High put people here to give us, to construct the tools and then give them. This is why so much thanks and gratitude I have for Father's Time, for coming up with the 10 life values and giving us the terminology, giving us a way to articulate what we knew. I like to give flowers when you can smell them. I like to give flowers when you can smell them. It's a blueprint. It doesn't matter where you are right now. You can always start. It don't matter what religion you are. That's why number one is spiritual, not religion. Doesn't matter what religious system that you follow. Doesn't matter where you are economically. Doesn't matter what hood you stay in. You can stay in a mansion or you can be in a SRO somewhere. You can everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. And we're not all starting at the same place. That is okay. As long as you start and don't give up. We have to be able to identify and define ourselves outside of white survivalism. That is the release from mental slavery. That's how you unlock yourself from that. Before we get out of here, I want to draw everybody's attention to the petition we have against Black Lives Matter as an organization. They, among other things, among other offenses, they have stolen more than $90 million of donated funds from the Black community that was earmarked to return to the Black community in the form of support and help to the communities at large. And that is not what they did. The founders of Black Lives Matter organization utilized that money instead for their own personal gain, for their own personal come up. So in order to hold them accountable, the link to the petition is in the chat. Thank you so much, my mods, for putting the link in the chat. Please go ahead and click that link. It is also in the description box. Click the link, sign the petition, share it on all your social media, contribute to it if you can, because they will be held accountable. But we first have to come together to show that we're interested in holding them accountable to begin with. I want to thank everyone for their more than generous contributions through Super Chat, through Cash App, through PayPal. Thank you so much. All of your contributions are well appreciated, and they really make us able to bring you this show. And speaking of us, last but certainly not least, is the warm thank you that I owe to my support team, without which the Crimson Cure cannot bring you this vital and original content on a daily basis. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.